You need to invest in yourself, whether it's time, health, or just basically with money. Health, sleep, and diet are all linked obviously to business. I felt like I had like some energy crash, and I had also lack of focus or just wanted to take a nap at the beginning of the afternoon. When I spoke with you for the first time, I really saw someone like me focused on finding the best way to optimize yourself to just get more results. So that's like really the main guideline of our work together: less input, more output. During this year, I had the most clarity and I had the most energy. In terms of sleep quality, I was getting like every single day really amazing sleep stats. I was expecting to be focused, but not as focused as I was. Every work block or every worked hour would equal to less input and more output.
Louis Edward, it's nice to have you here, my friend.
What's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. So, to give people a little bit of context on who you are and who we're seeing here today in the video, I want you to just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we can move on to your experience working together, of course.
Sure thing. So, yeah, my name is Louis Edward, and I'm the founder of Neo AI. It was originally an AI automation agency, and approximately like a year ago, we pivoted to setting AI setting system for online agencies and infopreneurs. And basically, we've been implementing setting on WhatsApp and Instagram for those clients. So the kind of clients that run VSL funnels, webinar funnels, or also have like a big audience on Instagram to help them get more qualified book calls and remove all the tourists from their pipeline.
Hmm. That sounds pretty interesting,
It
and
is.
it uses AI, so hit a lot of points there. Awesome. So let's go into the meat and potatoes of today's video, which is going to be explaining why we work together. We've been working now together for like 9 months or 8 months, something like that. So give us a little bit of a better understanding about what was going on before we started working together that made you want to join and optimize your performance and your health.
Okay, so basically, I've always been interested, or like not always, but it's been a while since I've been interested in optimizing myself, whether it was diet related, exercise related, or just get more output with less input. That was my main goal. And I had lots of good tips and tricks, but nothing really structured. And the reason why I wanted to start this program with you was that because when I spoke with you for the first time, I really saw someone like me, like focused on finding the best way to optimize yourself in terms of focus and in terms of everything else to just get more results. So that's like really the main guideline of our work together: less input, more output. And that was what I was looking for, because I was exercising like crazy on my side, like every single morning, at least 100 push-ups. I had a super strict routine, but that was not necessarily adapted, because at the end of the day, uh, I felt like I had like some energy crash related, like for example, to the things I was eating during the day. And I had also lack of focus, and I wanted to go to sleep really like at later at night when it was nighttime, or just wanted to take a nap at the beginning of the afternoon, for example. So I had kind of the basic guidelines of what I wanted to achieve and what were the best methods to get there. But there, it was kind of blurry. The path to get there was kind of blurry. So that's
Mm,
what I started working with you.
mm. So you had like a lot of things that you were doing on your by your own, and you already were quite, let's say, conscious about the fact that you weren't really optimized and the things that you were doing weren't really serving you in terms of like recovery, energy, mental performance. So you knew you need to do something about it. But like, how was your routine, your recovery, your focus, your energy? How was it affecting your day to day performance, your focus at work? How was your life before starting the program? If you can share.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I told you that sometimes I wanted to take a nap. So when I took naps, uh, I wasn't working. So that's what was like missing from the moment we started working together. I had like this lack of energy, this lack of focus. I didn't feel like I felt like the day was moving so quickly, and I didn't get the time to do every single task that I had planned for this day. And that's also like a problem on my side, lack of organization on what goals to prioritize and what tasks to prioritize and deprioritize. That's mainly the goal of every entrepreneur at a certain level. I think it's to handle less day-to-day task and focus on the one thing, as we spoke about that's like last time. So yeah, basically it's all of those issues. I knew what goal I wanted to achieve: perfect sleep, perfect diet, perfect health, but I wasn't there, and I didn't know how. I didn't know how to get there. So I wanted a clear path, and that's what you provided. If that makes
Before,
sense.
yeah, that makes complete sense. But before we get into more like the specifics of what we did to get you there, or where you are today, what other things did you try on your own? Like what were some, like you told me that you were exercising a lot. What were some other things that you were trying on your own that didn't really work, and why?
So, in terms of, for example, let's say diet, I knew I had to count calories, but I wasn't sure of how to structure the meals in order to have the most energy during the day. Didn't know if I had to have breakfast or skip it, or if I had to load up carbs at noon or at night, or like remove completely carbs or like at a very low level. So there were lots of, because you know it same way I know it on online. There are 100 different methods, and the everyone is every single method is the best way to do X, Y, and Z. But in the end, they're all bullshit and they never work, because they're not related to a global approach of health, focus, and performance. So the fact is that you need to take into consideration the lifestyle of the person you're working with, as on your side, but I mean for myself as well. The program I want can't be a program that's like super efficient only for people that exercise, because they only have exercise to do all week long, every single day. That's what they do. Same thing for diet. They are super focused on one single thing, and that's not something that as an entrepreneur you are able to do, because you need to put out fires in your company, you need to take care of legal issues, you need to take care of your team, you need to take care of your family. You have all of those responsibilities that need to work together, and your life needs to be all fully monitored in order to create a specific plan that works only for you.
Yeah, as you said, there are tons of different variables, and a lot of the advice online is good, but a lot of the advice online is also not applicable to like your entrepreneurial lifestyle or the needs and fires, as you said, that everyone could have. Okay, so let's now get a little bit more into how your life looks like today. So you explained how your life looked like before, with the things that you tried, and what was your mindset. Let's talk a little bit more about what your life looks like today after about 9 months of work.
With the program we have set up, I know I can achieve clarity and focus whenever I want. and that's a huge win for me because like life is a roller coaster. So sometimes you're going to be off track, sometimes you're going to be locked in and grind. That's just life. And when you're in vacation mode, it's not as strict as you normally should be. But let's take a moment where I was like fully following the program. uh, that's the moment where during this year I had the most clarity and I had the most energy waking up. I woke up like on time. That's what Nick was congratulating me for every single morning, by telling me, okay, you woke up like strictly on the exact minutes you should have woken up. Um, just taking in some sunlight, going for a walk and exercising. And basically, the whole structure was set up in a way that I was able to work and accomplish the most important tasks, even if it wasn't like all the tasks I had planned. The biggest ROI tasks were accomplished, so it allowed me like to improve on my business. And also in terms of sleep quality, I was getting like every single day really amazing sleep stats, which is super important for me. I think it's one of the most important factors of health and performance. It's sleep quality. And even though sometimes when you're not able, for example, when you're on travel or other events, you're not able to have like a full night, you're able to get back on track way more quicker, way more quickly than what you normally would be doing. Because I had some experience where I had like kind of a decent sleep, but in order to get back on track after, for example, a travel with jet lag, it took me sometimes almost a week or more than a week, which was
Mm.
absolutely terrible. And with everything you've like set up in the program, especially like with the exercise during the morning, uh, that helped me to get more energy and also allowed me to start my wind down routine in a chill way, and not just come back from the gym as I used to do at like 7 p.m., start making some food, then finish my 10,000 steps and being like super active in the evening and get to sleep super late. So basically, it's the way the the day-to-day activities were reorganized, not necessarily like removed, but more reorganized, that helped me uh, get to where I wanted to be, which is like at peak performance.
But another thing that we need to mention is that, include myself included, right? You are also very health oriented, even a health nut, we could say, or sometimes, right? So a lot of those things like getting good sleep and exercising is important to you because you feel good and you know that you're getting healthy and that's important to you. But what is the actual ROI in terms of your work, right? What is the difference between following the program, like following the protocols that we've made for you versus not following the protocols in work specifically, and how that drives your tasks forward, your focus, your performance in the business, and more specifically.
Yep, I get that. Okay, so basically, to talk more about the business side, what I think is important to mention is that, for example, the tools that I set up to track the work that I was doing were tools that I had already tried, but not like super extensively. For example, like Rise and Motion. Uh, there were just two tools I knew, but never used them really efficiently. And working with especially Rise, Motion was more of like the work stuff, task organized for the week. But for Rise, it allowed me clearly to see like when I was losing time and what I was working on, because sometimes you're just procrastinating, and I think that's the main part of the program, which is like when you start working, you need to get in the flow, and without all the other aspects of your life, because I know it's better to speak about business, but I think that health, sleep, and diet are all linked obviously to business. So if you're not maintaining a good sleep quality, you're not going to be performing well during work. And with all of those other, let's say, boxes checked, the business side was way easier to start when working on difficult tasks. I could just like get in the flow quickly, start working, uh, do the hard stuff, maybe get a coffee and sparkling water, and from there just do a 90-minute block where I could accomplish like what I normally would do in maybe 3 to 4 hours, because I was always like juggling between WhatsApp notifications, Slack notifications, and I think that as entrepreneurs at every single level, you're going to be like you're going to face all of these issues, and I think at bigger levels of entrepreneurship, you just have more fires to put by message and LinkedIn messages or Slack notifications of your team telling you there are emergencies. But at the end of the day, you're not working on what you should be working on, and you know that. And that's what I wanted to handle. And with this small little timer that you recommended, it's way easier to start those 90-minute blocks and tell to myself, okay, so I'm programming a focus session on Rise. I have my timer, I have my quick coffee, and because I sleep well and I eat well, I'm able to handle all of that way more quickly, and then continue with the rest of my day and allocate a specific part of the day to answering messages and emergencies, because at the end of the day, the emergencies are only emergencies if you consider them as such. But messages can wait like 2 3 hours to be answered. You don't need to answer every single message in a 10-minute span.
Mm.
But like the actual ROI focused tasks need to be done like during the first part of the day or during like the most productive part of the day. So that's,
Mm.
I think, was a big focus from what I was doing to where we are now.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, if Elon Musk is able to run multiple multi-million and multi-billion dollar companies and at the same time, like go sunbathe for the entire day on a yacht and then go play video games at like the highest level like you can score at, I'm sure you with your ecom business you can focus for 90 minutes without answering your Slack messages or something without the world falling apart.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
it's actually like I think it's interesting to see why people are doing that, especially like myself, because it keeps you busy. You feel like you've worked, and when you end up your day, your brain is tricking you into telling you, okay, you worked a lot. Look at your rise stats. They're telling you worked 8 or 10 hours of super focused work, when actually you weren't. You were just like tricking yourself into thinking you did some meaningful work.
Hmm, fake productivity. So it's like a lot of people think that um, more input versus equals to more output, but that's in reality that's not the case. And many times, as you said, this leads to you working more hours to just fill the calendar to feel like you're doing something productive, but in reality, you're sacrificing your downtime, your decompression time, your recovery time, and as a result, the meaningful things that you should do tomorrow are taking you longer and longer and longer instead of having dedicated time where you focus on the right things that move the needle forward with the right system in place so that you stay locked in. And then you're able to get 12 hours worth of work done in 5 hours, 6 hours, so that you can actually recover at night and repeat that every day without burning out. So that's super important thing. And that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs do wrong. Mistaking mistaking more inputs meaning more outputs, which is not always the case. Mostly, not, especially when your decision making needs to be sharp, clear. When you're at a higher level, I'm not obviously referring to when you're starting out and when you just need to make some, well, just beginning of your business and you just need to make some money. I'm saying, so you're making like 50, 100, 200K a month. You're managing a team, you're managing people, and you're making decisions. Your business is running with your brain pretty much. And if you're underslept, if you're eating like crap, if you're not moving at all, then your decision making is compromised. You can't think straight, and tasks that should take you an hour or 30 minutes take you 5 hours. So it's really important to note. But anyways, if you were to, another question for you here is, if you were to sum up like 9 months worth of work, what we did exactly, in a few, like in a minute or so, what would you say is that we did with working together? What did we actually do for you that helped you optimize your performance and your health?
So I think um, instead of like speaking for a minute, I'm just going to say like the most effective parts of the program. I would say like organize the day to prioritize what's important. And that depends on every single client, I guess. Like on my side, it was at first business and health. Right now, I would say it's more about health and business on the second part. So reorganize the day to get the most out of every single day, and every work block or every worked hour would equal to less input and more output. I think that's the main promise of the program, and that you manage to deliver on. Uh, that's exactly a comparison that we can do with even what I'm doing right now as an AI setting agency. We have a lot of input in the beginning to implement some strategies and protocols that you're not necessarily aware of. Like I'm thinking of cold showers and the amount of cold shower exposure that you should have every single week, meditation and stuff like that. But in the end, when those are kind of locked in on a day-to-day basis, the you have like it's become part of your routine, so you have very few input to actually put to get a lot of output. I know I'm repeating myself, but I think that's like super important, and I think that's what every single business owner should look for, and not just uh, make sure that they're doing their 10 hours or 12 hours of work per day. It's what are you able to get out of those 12 hours, and why can't you do that in 6 or 8 hours?
Mm. Pretty much what you're trying to say here, I think, is the more you can get done in less time, the better, and because you have more leverage. So if I get done 3 tasks in an hour and you can get only half a task in an hour, I move faster, I grow faster, I have a competitive advantage. I have more leverage from you, which is, it's all
Exactly.
about leverage.
It depends on, actually, I think it depends on the type of client you're working with. Because if you're fully focused on business, then of course, if you manage to get more tasks done in less time, you're going to have more time to work on other stuff that you were planning to do. And as you said, get some competitive leverage, and you're going to crush the competition. If you're more into like a personal life work life balance, if that's the case, then you have more time to spend with your family. Basically, you by implementing stuff that you don't necessarily know in the beginning, that can be sometimes a little bit tricky, especially like for me in meditation and breathing exercises. uh, but that allows you to gain back the time that you were actually losing. So I think it's a question of optimizing the time you're already spending, and allocating it to the right stuff.
Nice. What would you say would be what was the most unexpected thing that you gained from the program?
Focus. Focus.
Why was that unexpected? Since the program is pure focus.
Yes, it was, but it was like I was expecting to be focused, but not as focused as I was. Because as you know, and as I told you, like there are lots of promises online, and you don't necessarily see the impact it has on your work before implementing the rest of the stuff, whether it's like light exposure as well, and basically the routines that you have. You need some time to adjust to this routine to then get to this like super focused, laser focused experience. You are able to be focused like almost immediately, because you also have like the euphoria of starting a new program, of being like, okay, I'm going to change my life. But uh, in the end is what sticks to your habits, and that's important. And can you handle a new routine, and is that routine adapted to you? And that's what we've worked on. So I knew I was going to get some benefits of about focus and health in general, obviously. If not, I wouldn't have started the program. But there's a difference between knowing that you will get some results and experiencing it when you're actually working and you're like going through the task at a super rapid pace, and you feel like you're on limitless. And I think that's a great image, because you're just working, working, working. And when you stop your work block, or when your timer goes off, you're like, what the hell? I've done so much in that little amount of time. And then you just repeat the process over and over again, and you're able to get this competitive leverage you've been looking for.
Nice, man. Um, well, that's definitely very interesting to hear from that perspective. But what I'm also more interested to hear is what would you say that your biggest wins since starting to this day have been?
Biggest wins: number one, focus, as I told you. Number two, energy. That was a big problem also before starting the program, and that's something I didn't understand. I was like missing. I had all the different parts of the puzzle, but they were not like complete. So I couldn't see the bigger picture. I was so focused on every single part of the puzzle that it didn't make sense. Something didn't click, and I didn't understand why I was losing so much energy during the day, even though I thought I was sleeping well, even though I was exercising, I was eating healthy, and I was working, and I felt tired and didn't understand why. And I think that the fact that I have a wind down routine, the fact that I exercise in the morning and not even in the afternoon. So, for example, the pre-workout is in the morning, and not like a few hours before bed, which was like something that normally you should be aware of, but you but when you're so focused on optimizing everything independently and not in a global manner, you sometimes don't see the issues with your optimization,
Hmm.
because you never reconsider something that for you was considered as done. And okay, I was doing my exercise in the evening, and for me that was it. So I just had to adapt and find a way to get more energy for this specific part of the day for my workout. So that was like by taking pre-workout, for example. But I never considered, which is like, now that I think about it, it's of course it's stupid, but I never considered just moving the workout to the morning and just get the energy I needed in the morning to be able to wind down properly at the end of the day. So gaining back this energy that was lost in different processes that I tried to adapt on my own was definitely like the one of the biggest wins as well.
Mm. And a lot of times, the biggest win can come from things that when you're like when we tell you something that you need to change, you're like, yeah, I kind of already know that. It's not like it's not a big deal. It's not something groundbreaking, but it's the small things, the foundations, the basics that make the biggest impact. And still, a lot of people try to overcomplicate it with like red light panel, the cold plunge therapy with IV drips after, and special peptides and super expensive supplements. And whereas in reality, it's just the basic stuff. Do that really well, really consistently, and then everything else is supplementary at the end of the day. Cool. It's good to hear that from your words as well. That's the main thing that I stand by. But I mean, it's you just prove the same thing, which is why it works. So, Louis, who would you recommend this program to?
I would recommend this program to basically every single CEO that has issue with organization, with fires, and that knows that they need to change, because I think that to start a program like yours, there needs to be a will to change. But I think that that's the good part, that you work with mainly entrepreneurs, that we have this mindset of, okay, there's an issue, let's fix it. How do I fix it? I need to find someone that has more experience than myself to do it and to help me find a way. Because obviously you could do it on yourself, and that's what I was doing. And you can get some great results, because I was getting some great results in comparison to before exercising, before eating healthy, and all of that stuff. But there's always something missing. And in a case of a CEO, I had time to investigate every single aspect of productivity and self development and optimization, because that was all I did every single day. But when you already have a business running and you're doing 200, 300, 500K per month, you can't spend that much time investigating every single source of information. And at the end of the day, that's the same thing with the trainings you take. You don't go to the mastermind of Alex Hormozy unless you have a specific bottleneck you want to solve, and you know that you have issues in your business. Because if you go there without the any issues, and you're just going there because, oh, that's Alex Hormozy, you're just going to waste 50K. And I think that's the same thing here. You need to know that you have an issue with your daily organization, and you need to feel overwhelmed, which is the case of many people. And also, I think that something really important would be, even before the program, to just track what you're doing. Track what you're doing, and when you hop on a call with you, for example, you're just able to see that the stats are not matching your what you're saying. You're saying that you want to scale to this amount. You're saying that you want to improve your life and improve your health because you've gotten fatter, because you eat junk food every single day, because you don't have time to cook, because you're on sales calls every single day. But at the end of the day, you're doing 12 hours of work, something you could do in 4 hours, because you're just not focused. So I would say that every single CEO and business owner that has these types of issues should work with you, especially just to have a diagnosis of what they're doing well, what they're doing wrong. And in way more cases, I think that people are doing lots of stuff wrong, and sometimes they don't even know about it.
Hmm, 100%. And being more focused will allow you to improve your health because then you have more time to spend on your health. But it also feeds the cycle. Like being healthier will improve your focus, and improving your focus will allow you to be more healthier. And it's like a positive loop cycle. Whereas not paying attention to your health because you're grinding in the business right now because you need to make money and then you can take care of health later is actually making you less productive in the long run and making you less healthy and so on and so on. Last question. Let's say somebody's watching this video and it's on the fence of joining. What would you tell to that person?
I would say to look really well at their situation right now and to see if they think they could handle this kind of lifestyle for another 6 months, another year, another 5 years. And most of the time, they're going to say no. So the only thing that matters is, are you going to take a leap of faith and do the hard shit, as David Goggins would say, or are you just going to keep procrastinating and not do it? I mean, when we were on the sales call, the first call ever, I was also like, okay, is it really worth it? Am I going to get some benefits out of the program? I already know lots of stuff because I consider myself as an intelligent person and I'm doing lots of research on my own. So why would I need another guy to tell me what I need to do and how I need to organize my day? But at the end of the day, in the back of my head, I still had these issues that I couldn't fix on my own, and I knew I couldn't fix them on my own. So if you want to fix every single issue about your health, diet, and work on your own, then don't start the program. Of course, that's not going to be relevant. But if you actually allow yourself to be helped and not take care of this part so you can focus on the most important part of your life at the moment, whether it's personal or whether it's work related, then you should start a program.
But how did you change your mind? You were skeptical. You were saying, "Do I need this? Is it worth it? Am I gonna learn anything new?" What changed your mind?
There are two things that changed my mind. I would say that first
Or
would,
sorry, what made you actually want to do this and
yeah,
kind of like help you sort of pass your?
the first thing would be like the quality of the presentation of what you said we were going to do working together, and also the fact that I challenged you a lot during the call by telling you, okay, so why are we doing this? Why is this helpful? And you managed to answer all of my questions like really clearly. So I felt confident that you were above me in terms of knowledge on these aspects. That was maybe one of uh, my objections, was that maybe I knew more than you, and in that case, it would just be another program that would waste my time because I already knew all of the implementations and already knew all of the protocols that you were going to propose. But in the end, that was not the case. And that's something that really helped me move forward. And the other part would be to just, as I told you, like, in order to grow, you need to invest in yourself, whether it's time, health, or just basically with money as well. Uh, and I knew something had to change. So I just took a leap of faith. And sometimes it's just what you need to do. Do it. If it works, great. You managed to change your life. If it didn't, then, well, there's just going to be another opportunity to improve yourself. But you don't stop dating after just dating one girl because it ended up badly. You
Hmm.
look for the love of your life. I'm not saying that's like you're the love of my life, man, but but that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, that's really good example. That's really good example because again, worst case scenario, you just try something, learn a little bit of stuff, and that goes for not for the program because I mean we have a track record. We know what that if we follow like if we build the protocol for you and you implement the protocol, like it's going to change your life in a way or another. But in terms of like making decisions and taking the steps that other entrepreneurs that are above you have taken, Worst case scenario, you learn some stuff and it didn't really work out for you. And best case scenario, you just change your life 180 degrees.
I mean, there's something I think is important to add is that we're working with humans. We're not working. There's something like, for example, that happens in my line of work with AI. People don't trust AI because they think it sounds robotic. They think that humans can do better, etc., etc. So there are lots of problematics that are new, and that I get why people are afraid of. But when you're working with humans, humans obey to the same psychology. They obey to the same rules of being healthy and sleeping well. So even if you think that like the program can be like too much, or you're not going to learn enough, or even at the worst case scenario, you're still going to optimize the absolute basics of your health, which is already like above 90% of world population, and you're already going to see results on your business because you have all of the rest covered.
Yeah, pretty much. Like as I said, like the basics is what you need to fix first, and then you can think about all the extra fancy stuff that you see on the internet or on Instagram, YouTube, like the fancy biohacking or health optimization things. But yeah, anyways, that's another topic for another time. I think this interview today was very valuable, and thank you for wanting to do this with me. Is there any other thoughts or things you want to say before we wrap this up?
I think I spoke a lot, and I pretty much like explained all of my experience with the program, so I think we're good.
Yeah, you've exhausted a lot of the different topics that we could talk about, which is great. But yeah, thank you for doing this with me today, my man, and I will catch you on the next one.
All right, bye bye, man.
Bye-bye.